The Cuilcha-Gresham House partnership seems wrong on so many levels. It is an arrangement which on the face of it facilitates the expatriation of millions of euros from Irish taxpayers' pockets into the hands of fund managers. And on that basis, let me state for the record that we vehemently oppose this arrangement. The taxpayer will not benefit by one penny from this entity, and the language used to describe how much land will be acquired has varied from anywhere between 3,000 hectares, such as we've heard here tonight, to 100,000 hectares when Mr. Carlin started talking about this 2 weeks ago. So we don't know exactly how much land will be acquired. And as I understand it, and I have the right to speak here through the chair, that it has not, the upper limit on how much land will be acquired has not been absolutely definitively defined. So who knows how much land will be acquired? And it will have the effect of displacing farmers from farming activity. And it is on that basis that we absolutely oppose it. In other words, this entity is hell-bent on acquiring as much land as it can grab, and right now the Irish taxpayer nor the Irish government has no say nor any control whatsoever. You were asleep at the wheel on this one. It wouldn't have happened on anybody else's watch within this house. Ye let it happen. Ye didn't put a halt on it, and it seems now that it's signed, sealed and delivered. It's an awful travesty that we would facilitate in this country a situation where a financial house could come in, a UK finance house could come in and acquire so much of Irish land, or have the potential to do so, and they will walk away with the premia. Let there be no doubt about it. And the foresters are the people that I feel sorry for in all of this, because the foresters will end up being price takers, even though at present we know that they plant all of the forestry in this country. Because once you start acquiring more land, you start acquiring control of the means of production. And once you start controlling the means of production, then you can set the price. And before we know it, private foresters will end up being price takers, and many of them will become enslaved to this new entity. That's the danger that I fear about what is being created here. It is a beast for which there will be no control. Let me say that the dubious assertions of Ministers McConnell, O'Hackett and Ryan that Cuilcha are needed to reach the 8,000 hectare afforestation targets may be true. I don't think anybody would argue against that. But it is a fallacy to assert that the creation of this Gresham House Cuilcha entity is the way forward to achieve the 8,000 hectare afforestation targets. We know that the National Afforestation Programme is carried out each year by the private forestry sector. Here you have a Labour TD standing up in defence of the private forestry sector, because we see chapter and verse what they're doing on the ground in terms of putting plants into the ground, and how they're trying to manage against the teeth of a forestry service, quite frankly, that is not fit for purpose. And the metrics are proof of that, because only 4,779 hectares have been approved for planting, but 44,766 hectares have been approved for felling. We're cutting down more trees than we are planting in this country, let me say it, and it pains me to say it, on the Green Party's watch. That is the sad reality of it. The facts speak for themselves. If you read the dashboard, to which everybody reads, which is the stated documentation that everybody agrees is the industry standard, their figures are there. Now, Charlie, I'll finish my speech uninterrupted if I may, because I've only 25 seconds left. I think you fell asleep at the wheel on this one. I think they're out the gap on this one, but there may be hope. There may be hope for you to politically use whatever might and main that you can to pull this back from the brink. Because we do not want a situation where taxpayers' money by way of premia end up in London or wherever on the backs and through the sweat of the Irish forestry sector. If you work with farmers and work with the Irish forestry sector, you can deliver on your targets. You can do it within the means that you have at your disposal, but it must be looked at. Please revise this decision.
Sorry, Minister. Sorry, Minister.
Legally.
So if you fell a hectare of forestry, there's a legal obligation to replant it.
Charlie, Minister,
we're not having a
the
debate here,
metrics
sorry.
speak for themselves. You're cutting down more trees than you're planting.
Deputy Holly Cairns,
That's additional. That's additional.
Ministers,
Sean.
please,
That's additional.
just try and proceed.
You replant everything that's failed, and then that's all
Minister
additional what
McConnell,
you're referring to.
please, you'll have time at the end to wind up. Thank you.